Warning. This program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions. With your host, Berserker, this is Unshackled Fury.
The final stretch is ahead as the Dragon Isles draw near. Well, today is a very special episode of this fine program. So welcome back to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions, Unshackled Fury. I'm your host, Berserker. This is episode 114, and on today's show, we're celebrating an anniversary. Our anniversary. That's right. 7 years. 7 years of furiously raging all over your airwaves. And to make sure that we're coming correct for this episode, I've got not only our biggest giveaway ever, but a special surprise guest to help me announce it. So, 7 years of Unshackled Fury. And for those that don't know, because I know you probably didn't write this down on your calendar, October 12th, 2015, that was the day that this show launched. Think back to the hallowed days of patch 6.2, Hellfire Citadel and Warlords of Draenor. That was the jam. Flying on Draenor had just been unlocked. That is the era when I, for whatever fucking reason, decided that this was a good idea. First episode drew a whole 15 listeners. That's right. You too can start from the very bottom. I think we've gone up maybe to 16. So 7 years, 16 listeners. We're doing good. Folks that know the history of the show, did a year, left for a year, and then came back in 2017 with Navox and been here steadily for the most part for 5 years since. You know, and whenever you get to these sorts of landmarks, you know, I always like to celebrate landmarks in my life. I'm one of those suckers that's like, it's the, I don't know, for whatever reason, I have the 1000th day of the COVID pandemic like in my phone. I don't know why the fuck I have that marked out, but I do. It's just the way my brain works. I like to mark these sorts of things. So, of course, on an anniversary date, I always want to have something fun or something different to do on that episode. But, you know, it also is kind of a reflection on where the show is at that point and what do I think about what I'm doing or where we're at and all that. And, you know, truthfully, after 7 years, you know, all things considered, I would have hoped that the show would have reached a greater height than it has. You know, I know I joke about listener numbers and stuff on the show. But after 7 years, I kind of hope, like, natural word of mouth or whatever it is, that maybe you'd have a little more growth. But to be fair, I also don't do a lot to promote the show. And I'm not on Reddit. I have an account, but it's not like I'm out there promoting it all the time. And, you know, it really is a wonder to me, people like Manny who run for Azeroth, where they got TikTok. They're over there all over the place. I'm not doing any of that shit. I've always kind of flown into the radar, so it's by my own doing for the most part. But, you know, we've had a lot of fun. We continue to have fun. And now more than ever, the show has reached a place where it's getting access in ways that we've never gotten access before. So, for instance, in the Alpha Club, like first wave, right out the bat, that shit was a pipe dream not even that long ago. And we made it. We're in. It's still kind of unbelievable to me. And on top of that, now we have the ability to do not just like some boo-boo contest where I'm like, you know, I went out and bought a thing and now I'm going to give it away for my own money. No, we're giving away Blizzard's money now, which makes me really happy. So I I have a contest, a real contest, and a real guest. This is not some shit like I just put together with some audio clips. This is a real thing. We have a real contest and a real guest. And so because of the size and scope of this contest, and because it is the Unshackled Fury episode, there is only one person who I could bring on as a special surprise guest and make sure that we do this thing right. So welcome back to Unshackled Fury, my friend and yours, my brother Navox. Welcome back to Unshackled Fury, my friend.
Man, first, let me just say, I've missed that intro, and we still have, or the show still has, honestly, the best intro in all of World of Warcraft podcasts, thanks to our main man, Kane. I mean, honest to God, if you know, when you listen to the podcast, it gets you pumped, and then it goes right into it. And I've missed that, and it, you know, love hearing that. But thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me back as well.
Yes.
You know, thank you for inviting me back for this special episode. You know, I was one of the original listeners of the show. I think we discussed this when I first came on as a guest host back in the day, and I was like, you know, I loved the nostalgia episode. I mean, it really got me hooked, and it was, you know, all the rage segments. It's, you know, if you haven't listened to the earlier episodes, go all the way back to the beginning and listen to them. You know, it's a wonderful catalog. It's just great. Just jump into the helm there. You know,
that's where the that's where the erotic fanfic episode is. It's buried way back in the bowels. You know, talking with the Thrall's Balls people recently, and they brought that one up, and I was like, yeah, it's back there. Honestly, I think my Requiem for a King, because you and I worked on that, we collaborated on that, and Lisa, your wife, was part of that when we did the funeral for Varian Wrynn. That is still like the best thing I think I've ever put out. That thing's like 6 years old now. And I never hear anybody talk about that. Nobody ever listens to that. But if you want to go back into the archive, like that's the jam. Like the three of us did a fucking amazing bit there. No one's ever topped that. I don't think.
No.
So you're here, and we're gonna chat with you about, I don't know, where you've been, what's been going on. We're gonna dive into some just Warcraft news and kind of kick it off old school. But you know, there's probably a good chance that there's people listening to this going, "Get to the fucking contest! What are you doing? I heard there was a contest. I heard you're giving away keys, and I'm only here for the keys. And fuck you and fuck your show. No, where's the keys?" So here's what we're gonna do. Is I have in my possession, because I have a spreadsheet that has these on them, I have 20 beta keys to give away, and I have 2 heroic Dragonflight keys to give away. So that is like real legit. That's a $70 a piece ticket. That's not just some $10 awesome pickup. That is Dragonflight at launch. That is your Drax Pet pre-purchase bonus item. That is your Evoker class coming early. That is your level 60 character boost, a Tangled Dreamweaver flying mount, and a Murkastraza pet. You get all that, and the game itself. You don't have to buy the game. Like, wow, that's a big. I have 2 of those.
Wow,
and a bunch of beta keys. But you got to do something to get these keys. And, listen, there's a lot of people out there that are doing the beta key thing and this and that, and Blizzard, I think, has been very generous this go around. More generous than they've ever been, I feel like, than any other expansion before it. But I feel like a lot of our fellow content creators are falling down on the job, where it's a lot of, like, follow, subscribe, and leave a comment about what your favorite color is. Like, that just doesn't do it for me. That doesn't do it. I think that is, I appreciate simplicity is key, but I'm going to make you work for it just a little bit. It's nothing hard. It's nothing difficult. It's nothing that's even going to really take you that much time. But for a $70 item, I feel like you got to do a little bit of something. I go, "But Berserker, why don't you do something simple?" Because I learned from the old school of radio that if you're going to have people do something, you got to make it content worthy. Because listen, goddammit, I need content on this show. So here's what we're going to do. Number one, write this shit down. There will be a Twitter thread, but write it down. You got to follow Unshackled Fury on Twitter. That's right. You got to follow Unshackled Fury on Twitter. It's easy to do. Hit the follow button. If you like us, you love us. Number one. Number two, and this is where it starts getting fun. in a public place, preferably a crowded public place, you need to yell out with all your might, either "For the Alliance" or "For the Horde." And number 3, you got to capture it via audio and or video. So I want you to go out there, go out to your grocery stores, go out to your, I don't know, do it in church if you're so inclined. Go out to anywhere that there are going to be people that are going to react to it and are going to hear you say and scream your fidelity to whatever faction you are in. And you got to record that, say it, record it, and then send it to me via any means necessary. You can reply to the Twitter thread that I'm going to leave out there. You can send it to me via DM because you'll have followed Unshackled Fury in the first place, so you can do these things. Or you can email it to me at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And all this stuff is everywhere. You can go to unshackledfury.com. That contact information is there too. You can send me a link to it if you posted it somewhere, you know, file hosting something. Please don't send me some sort of other boo-boo shit of you, like, with your dick out. Just send me, like, a regular thing, right? You do those things. Follow Unshackled Fury on Twitter. Yell out your allegiance for whichever faction you have. Capture that via audio or video. Send it to me however you can. The best reaction and or location where this was done will win. And that's what it is. It's subjective. I am the panel of judges. So it's whatever makes me laugh the most, quite frankly. If you go up in a grocery store and you're in the deli counter and there's like 50 people there waiting for the salami and you yell that shit out and people are like, what the fuck? I'm going to be very happy. I'm going to laugh very hard. And so here's kind of the subtext to all of this as well, is that I am not responsible if you get thrown out of some place, banned, or otherwise have any action taken against you because you're participating in my stupid contest. I accept no responsibility for that. This is on your own situation. By sending me your clip, you are giving me permission to use that on the show. So you sign away all your rights. I don't have any contracts. Don't make me hire a lawyer, but that's the deal. I will not grant this to anyone with a bot account. Now, that's part of the reason why I'm making you do something and send it in to me, because a real human should have had to have done this thing, right? But if I feel like you're a bot account, I'm probably just going to ignore you if you send me anything. If your name is like Tyler32169, just take the 2 seconds and give yourself a real name. Give yourself a real name. It's not hard. I'll believe that you're a real person. So, grand prize, 2 heroic Dragonflight keys. 2. Everybody else that's a runner-up, you'll get a beta key. It's still great. You still get in. Still get to see all the jam. This contest is going to run for 1 week. 1 week, because I need to give people time to kind of, if you really want to get into it and you want to, try a couple different places. You want to plan it out. You got something on a Thursday and you're like, oh, this would be perfect. I'm going to go to book club and like yell this shit out. Whatever it is. So, on the 16th of October, 10/16 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is when the contest ends. So you have a whole week to get this into me. I will contact winners on the next day, 10/17. I probably should be working that day, but I'll spend the day going through your entries and I'll decide who the winner is. On the next episode of this show, on the 24th, that's when you will hear the winning entries. And above all else, if I give you a key, if you win it, you need to send me proof that you actually used it. I need to see that you put it into your account and that you claimed it, or else that's a no-go. And that is straight from Blizzard themselves, where if you try to sell this key, like, hey, I got this key for free, give it to me for $50, they will turn that shit off because they're Blizzard and they have the ability to do that. So make sure that if you win a key, you send me the proof that you used it, please. I'm keeping track of all of this. I will let Blizzard know if you haven't contacted me back. And that, because that's one of the things they've asked us to do, so that will be a problem. But, so that is the contest. That is what we are doing. And again, I'm doing this because I'm a fan of old school radio, and I think you got to do something fun and funny to win cool prizes. Then, like I said, I also want some content. So, to help explain this as well, and kind of my thinking, I went back to a bit from a show that's 20 plus years old. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Trigger Happy TV. It was a British show, and then they did an American version. I have a clip queued up for Nav that I'm going to play right now, and you'll hear it on the episode here right now. It may not come across as well visually, so I'm also going to link that in the Twitter thread that will lay all of this out Monday morning. So for Nav, right now, you're going to get to see this, and yeah, we'll do this. But Nav, what do you think of this? Does this sound like a fair bargain?
I think this is going to be one of the best contests because my brain's already churning. Like if I was listening to the show, I am planning a trip to either Costco or Walmart at the busiest time of the day. And people go to those stores between like 9, 10 in the morning on like Saturday or Sunday. They're there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going for the phone in the middle aisle that nobody's guarding where you can just pick it up and just yell it into a speaker.
Boom.
And then just
boom.
See what happens.
That's it. This could be genius, or this could be the most terrible contest, and no one will come in, and then Blizzard will never give me any keys ever again. But you know what?
We're not responsible if you're in cuffs. Don't,
That's right.
It's I was listening to a podcast. Isn't going to hold up anywhere anyway, so don't even.
Berserker told me to do it. Navox was there to get me going too. Get those two guys. All right, so here it is from Trigger Happy TV, a bit known as the Big Phone Guy. And the setup is that this dude goes to places with a gigantic cell phone, and then madness ensues. So here we go. Enjoy. Setup here is there's a guy, and he's at a modern art gallery, and he's staring at a gigantic cell phone that's laying on the ground.
Gallery. No, it's rubbish. Yeah, total rubbish. Yeah, ciao.
Now he's on a boat.
Hello. No, I'm on a boat in Holland. In Holland. No, it's rubbish. There's lots of cheese and stuff. Yeah, I can't talk. Yes. Yeah, okay, see you! Ciao!
Now he's running.
Yeah, I'm jogging! Yeah, I'm jogging! Yeah, fantastic! Yeah, new lease of life and all that! Ciao!
I was in a park.
Hello? Yeah, I'm in the park! Yeah, I'm in the park, yeah! Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, really quiet. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll ring it back. You're cracking up. Yeah.
The restaurant's the best.
Hello? What? No, I'm in a restaurant. No, I'm in a restaurant. Hang on. What? Hang on, I can't hear you. I'm going to go outside. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, ciao.
All right. So there you go.
Oh man.
So that gives you an idea, I mean, and possibly some suggestions, on where to do said thing. I'll upload the whole clip. It's about 5 minutes long. It's just this guy going to various places and just pissing people off because he's, like in the diner, everybody's chatting, and then as soon as he gets up and he says it, like everything just goes dead quiet. Right.
Yeah.
And so that may be, but you never know. You might do it somewhere and somebody will yell back, the call of your faction of choice, and that would probably be also a great one. But that is the contest. Go to a place, yell out for the Horde, for the Alliance, pledge your allegiance in public. Don't be afraid. We're all nerds somewhere, and that's it. Capture it, send it in to me, and you could be the winner of a Dragonflight heroic key. Win all kinds of great, fabulous stuff that comes along with it, including the game itself. You don't have to worry about paying that base edition $50, or the other stuff that comes along with it. So it's a pretty good prize, and I hope you all have fun. I hope we get some entries, because typically when we've run contests in the past, I think the response was a little underwhelming. For my tastes, but hopefully this one people will have fun. Send them in any way you want. Like I said, via Twitter response to the thread. You can email them to me. You can DM me if it's a small enough file. I think whatever it is, get them into me by the end of this week. So 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 16th of October. So that's it. that's what we're doing. And Nav, I couldn't think of a better way to kick off this anniversary show than trying to win some fabulous games and prizes.
That's awesome.
But perhaps second only to that is, since you're here, we should jump into a rage segment.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Let's rage.
So in a previous episode, I think this was 2 episodes ago, mentioned how leading up to Wrath Classic, there was an item that we were made privy to, which at first got me really upset, and then I rejoiced, because in the Wrath developer video, one of them that they put out prior to Wrath Classic, they talked about the development of the Death Knights and all of the cool gadgets and gizmos and abilities that they have and the cool class fantasy that they made. And they talked about how at one point, for warriors, they had considered this sort of like meat hook kind of ability where you throw it out and you latch it on somebody, you pull them in and you beat the shit out of them, right? And they're like, yes, that is all warrior class fantasy. And then they took it away and they gave it to the Death Knights as Death Clerk. What are you going to do? They got all the cool shit.
Yeah.
But then right at the same time, in the beta for Dragonflight, they're like, hey, warriors, we got something for you. Here's Wrenching Impact, where you heroic leap into a group, and then, Nev, you said it earlier when we were chatting, it's like Diablo, where you jump into the middle, and it pulls a bunch of people into you.
The furthest, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
That seemed like a great idea. A wonderful idea.
Yeah.
A fabulous idea. One of the best ideas they've ever had. I've lobbied far and wide and for many years for a headbutt, right? I know they kind of changed the pummel, or interrupts, kind of like a shoulder block deal, and that's great. But pummel, just full on headbutt, pow, right across the bridge of the nose.
Oh yeah.
But Wrenching Impact, I would take it. And they modified it a little bit. It was like 5, then it was down to 3, and they changed the yardage, or they did some shit. But I was like, you know what? Whatever shape and fashion and form they take it, let's do it. Well, some things are just too good to be true, because in the latest iteration of the beta, they took it away from us. They took it away. And what did they say? They said, we've removed Wrenching Impact. We'd like to provide a different choice for Heroic Leap, or a different choice node for Heroic Leap, but will not be looking to do this for the launch of Dragonflight, as our priorities are currently on stability and tuning. I cannot adequately articulate my disappointment with them taking this away. With the all of the great things that they have done in the development of Dragonflight, all of the good direction that I feel like we've been heading in, and all the oomph, the trajectory behind it, going, yes, Dragonflight. I know it's a small subset of us, but what a bungle! What a bungle. Nav, I don't know about you, brother, but this was like quintessential warrior shit here, and they held it out, they dangled it in front of us, and then they took it away. So,
what happened was the developers got together around the water cooler, and I think it was a bunch of mages that the developers also play the mage class, and they're like, guys, did you see this ability? Like, this is not good for us. And they're just like, fuck it, we'll just take it out for them. Their warriors are dumb. They're not even going to notice.
No intellect.
No intellect. Exactly. No intellect or anything. Because I cannot state enough how much I hate hate mages in PvP. Like when I love to go PvP, I was thinking, this is what I need for PvP against the mages. Like I'll skip, like, even if it's tactically sound to go for a healer or something and call out, if there's a mage on the field, I'm gonna go kill it. It's just, I hate, it's just deep seated, it's rooted. I just cannot stand mages in PvP. They're just so slippery, and that ability would have helped us out big time.
Changed the game.
I honestly do think it was a bunch of mage developers, and they're just like, nope, take it out. They can't have this. It's enough that the Death Knights have the grip,
Yeah.
So,
I feel like this is gonna be, Odin's Fury, right? Famously making its return after a couple of expansions off. I feel like now this is going to be the thing that all of us annoying warriors are going to show up at every BlizzCon Q&A, assuming we have them, and go, "Hey,
Standing
Ian,
up at BlizzCon.
Berserker, Salad Senate, Airy Peak. Shout out to my boys. What up? What? Where is Wrenching Impact, and when can I expect its return? Ian, your flies down. It's that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be just the thing that's gonna stick in my craw until they do it. Now with the new Blizzard, I don't know, attitude that they seem to have. Maybe if enough of us sign a petition, we'll get it back. It'll be the Wrenching Impact patch, which if it happens, man, that's definitely what we're going to name it. But that to me, that's the kind of like play style change that really could make things more interesting, and that's something that they've really seemingly tried to be more cognizant of, is how do we make these classes more fun to play? Like what little tools and tricks can we give them to hype that up? And that was one, I think, for Warriors. Your Diablo comparison is right on, because there's been so many things that I've experienced. I know in Diablo 3 playing a barbarian or playing a crusader, where there's just kind of like these pieces where I'm like, this is some good warrior shit. Shield bashing and rage generation and whirlwinding and wrenching impact, or whatever you want to call it, that type of ability. Like, I don't know that we want it to essentially homogenize, so it feels like it's the same thing. But God, there's a lot of great ideas there that I think we could use.
That and let us mod the Diablo style armor. Like I say that every time I see something with Diablo, I'm like, that's the barbarian. I want to look like that. Just that's all I want to look like in the game. Like I don't have to raid, I don't do it. Just want to look like that. So
instead we're getting,
I don't know, I'm mining nodes, but I want to look badass while I'm mining nodes or something, It's like
the Conan fantasy.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, I know. Well, we'll put it on the list. Conan, Transmog, and Wrenching Impact, and maybe one day they'll let us play the Ultimate Warrior fantasy. So that's our rage segment for this week, and I know that Blizzard listens to this show intently, and hopefully they will hear our pleas and grant us our boon. So with that being said, we do have some beta news to talk about. We're kind of getting down to it here, but we got Nav here with us, and a few other things to talk about. So why don't we jump into our news? So, do have some news to talk about. Obviously, there's a release date now, which we may or may not have known about it. But the big thing, I think personally, right now, sitting here, big question on people's minds is, Nav, you're here. How have you been? What's been going on in the life of Navox? It's been a little while since the folks have heard from you, and it seems like, from people that have chatted with me offline, that you took a sabbatical for a period of time, and lived what we've always talked about, is when you need that breathing space, right, to take it, living the adventures in Florida. So I guess to ask the question, right, how the hell are you, and what have you been up to?
So to answer the question right off the bat, we're actually doing rather well, but getting to that point, there were a lot of uphill and downhill battles throughout the time pass. And I was looking at when the last show was, and it was actually the last show that I was participated with was actually, it was a year and 4 months ago. I'm sorry, year, 4 months and 23 days, or 16 months and 23 days. Anyway, but my last recording was of May of 2021, I believe it was, right? And in June 29th, Korthia was that was the launch of it.
Okay.
And I gotta tell you, like, Shadowlands as a I really enjoy playing World of Warcraft to the point where I love going back and doing the old content, even up to some of the newer content. But Shadowlands just did not. I had some fun raiding Castle Nathria. I had fun going through the adventure one time, but the whole expansion surrounding death wasn't a good thing for me at the time. My mom was going through, she's okay now, but just letting you know, she was going through some cancer treatments and stuff at the time. And it really, I don't know, it kind of hit home, the whole death thing. And then the maw bummed me out all the time. And then to know that Korthia was gonna go, just, we're all in on the maw, this is what we're doing. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, oh, so I always said, listen, I'm not going to talk shit about the game if I'm not playing. I'm not going to go out there on Twitter like some of these other, the people who've played, and then in the past they stop playing, they come back and they're like, WoW sucks. I hate playing WoW so much. Okay, well, when's the last time you played? It's like you don't really play anymore. So I kind of had to disassociate myself from the game a lot, and it helped a lot. So I around this time of year, I always come back to playing WoW because I don't know what it is. It's just the environment around Brewfest, Hollow's End, things like that. I miss playing the game, and I miss playing the game at a casual level because I can log in. I can, like, my latest thing has been leveling up dwarf warriors. I don't know what it is. I love, my main character is max level, but I love the dwarves, and I think it has something to do with the latest Lord of the Rings thing on Amazon.
I was gonna ask.
I'm really freaking enjoying that big time. We haven't finished the last couple episodes, so no spoilers. But
there's
we're
some
gonna finish
big shit going down.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Because, so I'll come back to that. But what happened was when I left the show, I was like, I wanted to go back to school. I registered for college again because, I wanted to finish up my degree.
Yeah.
And I'm working on finishing up my degree because I started college back in '96, and then I managed to land an internship that turned into a full-time career. So it was like, do I want to, I was myself and another intern. We were competing for this position, and he was like, I gotta go to school. And I'm like, I'll stay here and work late. And then the boss is like, oh, you have a good work ethic, we want to hire you on. I'm like, great. 24 years later, it worked. that gamble worked out for me. But in the end, I just want, and I want to have that like peace of mind of having that piece of paper. So I'm going back, doing some classes, and so when management asked me this year, hey, what do you want to do? I'm like, they're like, do you want to go for more Microsoft training? I'm like, I can do Microsoft training until I'm blue in the face. And let me give you a little secret about Microsoft training. If you don't get the Teslets or the things, you can go study all you want. Like, you can study a Microsoft product all you want. If you don't get the Teslets and you don't get this thing where it's quote unquote cheating, but they show you the test questions. And then they show you the answers that they want, because Microsoft test answers, if you try to apply real world troubleshooting solutions with that, we're not a troubleshooting computer show, but I'm going to end this discussion real quick with this. You won't pass a test if you don't do these Teslets. That's the end goal. But I told them, I'm like, listen, I can do that anytime. I want to go back to school. Fortunately for me, my managers are awesome. The place I work at will cover it based on the grade that I get. I still have to put out money for the books, but the class, they cover it. So there's a lot of added benefits for me for that. So I want to take advantage of that while I'm still here with the county, where I'm working. So it's I was doing that, and then this year we actually I want to rewind back to December, where when my wife and I are still on this weight loss journey. We've been working out. I got all this weight stuff at the house, and she goes to work one day, and I'm like, I'm gonna go for my walk, because it was towards the end of the pandemic, and everybody's going back to work, because butts and seats. You gotta have butts and seats. So my wife went to work. I decided I was gonna go for our walk. So I go for a walk in our neighborhood, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just start. I've been jogging a little bit. I'm gonna jog a little bit more. And I ended up running, and I did, I did my 3 miles, and I ran most of it.
Look at you.
I'm like, you get that runner's high, and I didn't understand what it was until you're like, oh, I'm not stopping. I'm able to, like, holy crap, like I thought I was asthmatic. I thought it was all this, and I was like, oh, cool, I could just keep running. Next day I woke up, my knee was swollen.
Oh.
And then it was that turned into a torn meniscus.
Oh,
and
no.
That took oh my God, like 3 or 4 months to heal, things like that. So, and then during all of that, I was scheduling a surgery to have them go in, because they can't heal it. They can go in and clean up the knee. They just can't do anything with the knee, really. So the place we were renting, I contacted the landlord and said, hey, look, we're coming up on our lease. I have to schedule a surgery. I just want to make sure that you're going to renew our lease so that I can schedule the surgery, because I don't want my knee torn up if we have to move.
Yep.
And they said, yeah, no, you're fine. You can stay there for as long as you want. You can rent here for as long as you want. No problem. And then another month later, they called. They're like, we're selling the place. You gotta find a new place to live.
Oh,
like,
God.
Shit. So my wife, God bless her, reached out to some friends who own some properties in the area. And they said, listen, we had a tenant move out of this one house, single family house. And we jumped on it, and it was, I hats off to my wife. She and some of my friends, I had my bum knee at the time, and she and, 2 friends with trucks, us with our 2 Subaru Outbacks and stuff like that. We're moving a 1,200 square foot townhome in the span of, we got it done in like, a week, and it was just nonstop, just driving back and forth. So the nice thing is we're in a better neighborhood. It's a nicer neighborhood, and for some of you out there, if you listening and you live in a townhome community, you kind of, it's like everybody else is up in everybody else's business, and it was like a dorm community.
I remember the stories you had about that place. It was wild.
The prostitutes, it was crazy. Like, it was awesome because we were able to shed all of that. I think we shed the video of the prostitute still. We have some of that, but I think we deleted all that footage. But it was a constant walking out your front door in a townhouse community and somebody else coming out of their front door going, hey, let me take up a bunch of your time with our bullshit. And it was like, oh God, I just want to take my trash out. Just let me take my trash out. I don't want to talk to you people. But anyway, so we moved, and we actually, we moved. We lost one of our pets during the time. They made us actually going back. They told us, they're like, hey, we need to do all the floors in the house. That should have been a sign right then. We should have known. Like, I think we said it at the time. It was like, hey, we want to do all the floors in the house. You got to move all your stuff. So one weekend we were moving stuff upstairs and downstairs, and yeah. But anyway, that's in the past, and it's a much, we're in a much nicer like all of our neighbors are so nice. Like,
that's awesome.
It's really, really awesome. And that came, we met everybody actually because the hurricane was coming through. Our area was affected by the hurricane. I normally work I help out and assist the emergency operations center for our area. And when the hurricane was coming in, we walked around and met all the neighbors, and I wanted to give them my cell phone number so we can keep in communication with everybody. Everybody's nice. So nice here. And it was the first year in 24 years that I didn't have to actually be on a shift for storms. So we actually packed up all of our stuff, the cats, everything. We went over to my parents' house and hung out there. We lost power for a week. We got our power back this week.
God.
Other than that, we're back, we're working. I reached out to you and you're like, dude, have you played Cyberpunk? I'm like, no. So I picked that up. That game's amazing. I know it was a World of Warcraft show. I just want to say, guys and girls, if you haven't played Cyberpunk, give it a shot. It's awesome.
Pretty great.
You can pick it up. It's amazing. But I'm not going to go into that on this show. But yeah, ultimately, I am pretty happy to close this chapter on Shadowlands because this going back to what I said at the beginning, I wasn't happy with this expansion, and I've had discussions with a lot of people. It's like, when you're connected to, when you're playing the game and you're connected to Azeroth, that's one thing because you can go all over the place. This land was just like, oh, okay, I got to jump on a flight path to fly through a center point to go to another point. This point's, anyway, I'm not going to bitch about it on the show anymore. I'm happy with what I see with Dragonflight. I'm happy with what I see with the direction that the game's coming. I'm going out there and watching streams on Twitch of, people doing, this dragon flying and stuff like that. And the fact that they're building stuff to, the controller schemes are built into the game now. And, with the Microsoft acquisition of, Blizzard Activision, things like that, I can see where this game is probably headed towards the future, where I'm not going to be surprised if they announce, hey, look, you can load this up on the Xbox and play it at some point. Like or cloud game, like you can just pick up your phone and just load it up on there and just do a cloud. It's coming, that technology is there and it's coming, so, but yeah, other than that, oh God. Yeah. When we got in the new place, I bought a grill for the first time.
There it is.
I forgot. I was like, that was the big thing. Like, I was like, you started at the top of the show. You're like, I don't have a big following. I was going to jump in, but I didn't want to jump in too early. I was like, no, all we got to do is turn this into a grilling podcast and you're going to have like 24,000 followers. Cause apparently if you put out #barbecue or grill on Instagram, you just get followers left, right, and center.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
When we got into the house, I was like, I asked our landlord, I'm like, do you mind if I get a grill? And he looked at me like I was stupid. I was like, he's like, I don't care what you do. He's like, just don't burn the house down. So I was like, okay. So I found a grill at Walmart. It was on sale because they're liquidating. I mean, guys, if you need a grill right now, go to Walmart. They are liquidating all their stuff. There's like a char grill or auto Kamado for $224 right now at Walmart. If you're looking to get into that game, that's a great grill to start with. But I ended up getting this Master Built Gravity.
Yep.
I have done when I say that I grill every day, I that thing is lit every day, and I am out there grill. It was off for a week while we lost power. I didn't have a battery pack, which I'm gonna rectify that. I'm getting a solar thing. I'm gonna hook it all up. But
there you go.
I'm learning the ins and outs of, like, I've got a brisket right now. Like right before we were recording, I was like, I hope I hit the stall period. So because I need to kick this up and it needs to get to 200. So I wrapped it right before the show and it's still out there. So
there you go.
But yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that one. My wife's even getting into that one with me. So it's fun. So I don't know. It's something relaxing about sitting outside just with a drink and just sitting around, just smelling the smoke and stuff like that too. So it's,
That's it.
But
we talked for years about, because I'm an asshole posting all my photos and stuff, and I've been doing that for a while. And you and I would talk about it all the time when you were at the old place. I'm like, bro, you gotta get a smoker, bro. Like, dude, I can't have one here. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, what do you not understand? And then I start seeing you posting these photos, and I'm like, yes, he's in it. We're doing it. We got ribs and pork butt and brisket.
Oh yeah.
And, I mean, it opens up a whole new world, and it's such like a middle-aged person thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where I saw a joke somewhere said that, like, maybe it was particularly the middle-aged white guys, but it's like you either take one of two paths. You either become the guy who watches nothing but the shit on History Channel, or you become a smoking guy. Where it's like you're all about, Nazi zombies of World War II, or you're all about like dry rub versus wet rub on my pork ribs, right? Like it's a whole different thing. But it's been awesome to see you on that journey as well, because it's something we talked about so many times about making the barbecues. So yeah, I appreciate the photo that you sent earlier. Looking good.
I'll have plenty of leftovers. You guys are more than welcome to come and join us. I'll make some. I'm gonna make some of that the Mexican street corn and stuff like that. It's
There it is.
yeah.
That's the shit. So you're in a better place in a few senses of the phrase, and I know that like I for one I've seen you like around more, and you're playing WoW. I mean, so are you coming back to WoW? Is it more casual now for you, or what's the future look like for you?
So the future looks like this. I needed to reprioritize so when I was raiding full time, it was when you mythic raid, it is to me, it feels like it's a full time, like you are raiding. So your schedule is this and this, and then you've got an optional raid. And God bless, I love my raid team. I love my guild. I love my raid team, but, to keep up so that you don't let your team down, you have to, and you could say you don't have to, but no, you really do have to. You have to stick to logging in every single raid. Outside of that, you have to run the mythic pluses so that you can get the gear, so that you can compete, to make sure that you're doing the most damage that you're doing it in a raid. Like if you're a DPS or if you're a tank or if you're a healer, you want to make sure that your gears, you are geared out. My plan is to enjoy Dragonflight like I enjoyed Mists of Pandaria, because I'm getting a very Mists of Pandaria vibe to it.
Yes.
And I'm going to play the game. I'm going to enjoy the game. I will probably, I let my group know that I'm probably, if I do anything, it would be a heroic. I'm not doing mythic. I can't do that. And heck, I might not even, if I can log in every once in a while and do it, that's great. But I got to put family, school, and then World of Warcraft. It's like you got to, family, work, school, then World of Warcraft. It's like I forgot the work part. It's like there's you got to support the hobby, but it's and all the parts of Shadowlands, I guess, weren't too bad, I want to say, but they came later. Like this last expansion, the last patch that came out, I thought Zereth whatever it was,
Zereth Mortis.
Yeah, that was like a Nagrand area for me, and I thought that was cool. That was kind of a neat little area. But I went back to level some alts. I'm like, ugh, I cannot do. Like I was out there complaining on Twitter. I'm like, listen, WoW devs, I know you listen to the show, WoW devs, but anyway, Chromie time needs to be put and implemented sooner rather than later. Because if I could take my tunes right now, especially with the Wrath launch, just like Chromie be like, hey, you want to go back and level in Wrath of Lich? Yes, absolutely. Because that was, I love leveling my tunes in Wrath. Like that's if I level up in alt, I will always go to Wrath or no, I actually do. I always go to Wrath. That's where I go to level my tunes. It's just a very relaxing environment for me. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I'm back. I'm gonna be playing, Dragonflight and all that good stuff, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we're my group is actually switching servers. They're gonna go over to Storm Rage, which is a higher pop, because they want to, they're trying to recruit for their Mythic Raid group. And it's tough to do on a server that doesn't have a lot of Mythic Raiders on it. So it's. Yeah. So that's where they're headed over there to do that, and I'll join them over there, and level up, and they're my friends, but I'm not gonna it's expensive to server transfer. Like if you go out there and look, but I don't have to maintain 10 or 12 characters anymore because I'm not dealing with the Mega Guild atmosphere. So it's like, I love playing my warrior. I actually love playing my hunter, thanks to Slick. And I love playing, my shaman. And it's like, I got my 3 characters, love playing them, and that's about it, But
well, that sounds like a very healthy balance, for whatever it's worth. And I'm glad that you were able to, take the time to, like we always talk about, take the time to do what you need to do, because at the end of the day, this is just a game. We love to talk about it and screw around and all that. But when it stops being fun, and I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more later, but when it stops being fun, it's like, man, like, what the fuck am I wasting all this time and energy and everything else for? Because it feeds a cycle of just being kind of miserable, and you don't need that in your life. You don't want that. You got enough stuff.
Right.
Life is hard enough, especially these days. And I mean, Christ's sake, you have like a all-time biblical hurricane coming down on you. Like, I mean, that's the kind of shit that's going on, right? So, you know, to see you come back around, I just say for myself, it's been nice to see your presence once again around the Warcraft scene, because God knows and I know we need you, and there's not enough people like you around. So, glad to have you back around. So, I'm glad you could be
very much
here today on our special episode. So, and you know, who knows what the future holds? We'll see. So,
absolutely.
With all of that, you want to jump in and talk a little beta news?
Oh, heck yeah.
Let's do it. So, we saw the leak on Reddit or wherever the fuck it was. You know, somebody posted out a production schedule and blew up the spot. And so we knew that November 28th was potentially the release date for Dragonflight. And that has now come to pass. That is the official date. 3 p.m. Pacific time, I know on that day. I will not be working. I know it's a Monday. But I'll be in a meeting that I'm going to schedule on my Outlook. So don't come fucking looking for me at that time. But we will get it out, which also means, if that's true, we get the pre-patch October 25th. So, like, a couple weeks, like right around the corner.
Right around the corner, yeah.
And there has been, from the beginning, like from the time that they officially announced Dragonflight, and they said 2022, like it's going to happen in calendar year 2022, people lost their shit. And like, no way, there's no way, it's a rush job. Blizzard, you're screwing the pooch again. And, you know, and for me, you mentioned it earlier, I'm sensitive because of Cyberpunk, right? And all of the ills of the launch of that game, which has, thank God, seen a renaissance, among other things, because of the anime Edge Runners that came out, which was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But, you know, you hope that they're not rushing it. You hope that they're taking their time. And I've said on this show is like being in the beta, seeing what I've seen, I feel confident that they're going to be in a pretty good state. But for you, as somebody who took a little bit of a break, we're not all that thrilled with what happened in Shadowlands. You're coming back and you're looking at Dragonflight. Do you feel like that is appropriate based on what you're seeing? Do you think that this year was too soon? Should they have pushed it out further?
No, because one of the things that the developers were talking about initially was trying to get more content out in a quicker fashion anyway. So they're trying to get the content out so that there's not these long droughts of, all right, well, we're in this raid for a year and then there's nothing. You know, so the more content, the quicker they put out, I think it's going to keep people more interested in the game and keep people more engaged. You know, the fact that the stuff that I'm reading, I think there's a lot of stuff in there built for and around the casual players. And, you know, while the hardcore raiders are, you know, it's a fun outlet for them. The driving, you know, the people that keep supporting this game are the folks that are the casual player. I think everybody who's raiding and does a hardcore raiding and they're there for the world first stuff and then they duck out afterwards. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go. All right, I've finished this game up, professional gamer. I'm done doing this. I'm going back to Call of Duty or something like that. Okay, well, that's cool, but the game needs, you know, the people that sustain it are the casual players. So the fact that they're building more things around that, and we got to experience a little bit with Zareth Mortis, the armor thing. I thought that was actually, you know, as much as I shit on Shadowlands, I thought that was a neat little addition where you went to the central point, you could upgrade your gear, and then eventually you can, you know, participate in the raids if people were still raiding. You know, I came in a little bit late, but, you know, and also, I mean, yeah, they're just, you know, the stuff they're putting in for trade skills, things like that. You know, I don't think we've seen a whole lot of that, but the discussion around that, you know, they're going to make it so that people are going to be able to make things that
it's going to be different.
Yeah, it's
you
gonna be
know,
a lot different. Yeah.
Having seen it, it's kind of like the tiered system that they're bringing in. Last I
Yeah.
saw, it's gonna be a bit different, but I think people will pick it up quickly. And it did seem, you know, like it was in a decent enough spot. But you know, I haven't put a lot of hands on the beta lately because I've been busy with, you know, Wrath Classic and some other stuff. So I guess coming around to it, end of November, you think we'll be in a solid place, or do you think people are going to be losing their shit?
I think everybody loses their shit no matter what, but I think we're going to be in a solid place. You know, let me tell you, with it's funny. With age comes wisdom, and every time we see something like this, you know the community's going to lose their shit. But in the past, it's like, oh, fuck you guys for losing your shit. You know what? They're compassionate gamers. I'm just going to call them. They're passionate gamers. They're passionate about World of Warcraft, and it's good to have that community out there to support the thing that you like doing. So if people are out there pissed off, good. If people are out there all happy, good. As long as the two aren't, you know, killing each other. But I think this, again, every time there's an expansion that comes out every few years that cools things off. And like I said, you had MOP and it cooled things off, and then heated up again. And now Dragonflight seems like we're, you know, going back home. Time has passed. We're not dealing with the death stuff anymore, and I think it's going to be a good thing for the World of Warcraft community as a whole.
So on top of that, we've also learned, speaking of release dates and kind of, you know, things maybe changing a little bit for the better or the worse, depending on who you are. Talked about this previously about how Ian Hazzikostas had floated the idea that all raid tiers will come out at the same time. So there was no delay, right, between normal, heroic, and then mythic. You know, they get an extra week or whatever the thing was. On December the 12th, it's all coming out at the same time. And I know I was pretty happy about that because, you know, I mean, baby, it's just a little thumb in the eye of the Mythic Raiders. No offense to anybody in that way, but it's like, why are they doing it? I don't know, to cater to the Mythic Raiders. I kind of like that they're making a little bit of a chaotic scene now where, I mean, when do you jump in now? Because now you have to think about, well, we're going to do these split runs and we're going to do all this stuff and we got to get through normal, heroic, get our tier pieces, all this stuff. And it kind of adds a spicy element to the World First race that we haven't had. Right. And so I look at that and I go, that's pretty great. Like, I love it. You know, let them figure it out and see, you know, see where the ships fall. As a former Mythic Raider yourself, I mean, what would you be thinking? You know, go back to when you were doing this. How would you, as a Mythic Raider, tackle this?
So, first of all, we'd have to see who... We'll probably watch Max and see what he's doing with his group, and then whatever that group's doing, you know, if they're raid testing, and then they usually post, hey, this boss is easy, you want to go this route, things like that. So you would, you know, plan that's this is the part where I think I burned out of the game at the very beginning of the game because you rush to get in, you rush to level. Like I thought, Shadowlands, I'm going to experience the journey. Nope, I bolted all the way through to 60.
We talked about that.
So we could get into the dungeons. So then we can get into the you know, the harder dungeons, and then you're raid geared. You're like, I'm ready to go, and you know, then you log out for a little bit because you're burned out. But that's the cycle. That's what you do with your Mythic Raider. You log in, you bolt to 60. You get your professions all maxed out. You're doing dungeons. You're hitting your, you know, you're just doing it all the time. You're just trying to get all that gear that you need, and then you're trying to gear up your friends, and that's what they're doing, you know. And like you said, the split runs, things like that. I've never been in a situation where my groups ran split runs. It's just we would go in and we would tackle some bosses. And now there were instances where we would go in and go, you know, the first boss on Mythic isn't that hard. We should just go hit that real quick. If we're hitting a wall on Heroic, let's just go hit the first boss on Mythic since we can down it. The mechanics are basically the same. There's just one more thing. So you know, you do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It really is. I'll be watching from the sidelines on Twitch or something when they are.
Yeah,
when they're
exactly.
All, going.
Yeah,
I hope somebody from. I hope it's somebody this time. I hope somebody from who's not even in the world race beats some of these that are, because that actually happened in the last world race. I think I was reading about that recently. There was a guild that just happened to get a world first kill because of the raid time. The rest of the world first raiders were down. They were sleeping. They were out. And then this other group just happened to raid at that time, and they actually ended up getting a world first boss kill or something like that on the last raid tier. I forget what it was, but
the last tier was very chaotic, and it went way longer than they thought, and it was kind of all over the place, because I know here, like with the former Warcraft Radio, now Bonus Roll Productions folks, like they always had a pretty extensive world first race coverage situation going on. I'm not entirely sure what everybody's doing this year, but yeah, the last tier was, it went long and nobody knew what was happening, and there was random people popping up, and as you and I talked about many times, it was the same raid teams over and over. It was the same guy, and it just got really boring watching the same two people compete. But I think even one of those guilds is gone now. I can't remember which one, and Method's still around, and they're doing 15 teams or whatever. But it should be interesting. I'm sure Blizzard will. I guarantee that they will post something about where people can watch and who's going to be hosting what when the race comes up. And kind of tied into that is another big change that has been the talk of the town recently, and that's about the change in loot rules that we come to know and love or hate, depending on sort of your feeling on the matter, because different raid teams have different goals and different ideologies in terms of how people get gear and what that looks like. And so they were going, we had personal loot, right? Everybody had a personal chance of getting loot per boss. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it because for me, what it did was it reduced a lot of the drama that we used to have in the old days. Like any of us that came up with, DKP systems or, master looter shit. I mean, it's just, I had a guild, the first raiding guild I was ever in, Pretendere, on Blade's Edge, R.I.P. The guild basically basically broke up because we were doing Gruul's Lair, right? This is way back. This is BC days, right? Mm-hmm. And for those of us that were around then, the Warriors remember, PvP gear in some cases was better than raid gear. And so that's what we were encouraged to do. And back then there were what we used to call welfare epics, where all you had to literally do, me and two buddies, friend of the show Rommel and another friend of ours, we would do it was 5 games or 10 games, or whatever. We had to just you just had to get in them. You didn't even have to win. You just had to get into these matches, just do a minimum number of matches, and after so many weeks, you would be able to get these epic upgrades. And they were very powerful, the PvP stuff. And so in this kill that we got on Gruul, there was a loot council with this group. It was like the leadership decided who got all the pieces. And because the raid leader believed that PvE gear is the only way to go, regardless of what anything else said, I was awarded these pants, these PvE pants that came off of that. And apparently it caused so much drama because I had the better PvP pants. And other people in the guild and the raid knew it. That caused so much drama, the guild broke up the next day.
That's awesome.
And so I've always been kind of tainted against this sort of thing. I don't like the drama around loot. I was in a guild. I was just talking about this with Rommel the other day. We were kind of reminiscing about Wrath. And we were part of this guild, and there was this woman who was the leader of the guild, and she was a Fury warrior. And there was no way anybody would ever be able to get ahead of her on a DKP chart. Because she had more points than anybody. She showed up to everything. God bless her. She was dedicated. But this was her whole life. And so you would never, ever, ever be able to get ahead of her for a piece. And so her tune would be completely geared out before anybody got the next piece of gear. It was shit. I hated it. It was terrible.
Yeah, I hated those.
Right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, personal loot, bring it on. Let's do it. I want my own chance, even if it sucks, whatever. We'll do it. We got coins we can toss and to your Witcher. That's a different thing. You know, we got coins we can do. We got loot vaults that people hated, whatever. Well, that's gone. So Dragonflight, personal loot, going the way of the dodo. Experiment came and went. We're going back to more old school rules. Need, greed, pass, but with some changes, right? So they're going to try to update it a little bit, and I'm going to do my best here to explain it because I'm not the most adept at this. But some things like the items will remain tradable until they are soulbound. So even if you roll need on something by accident and you don't actually need it, you'll still be able to trade it, or you'll still be able to work it out with your raid team. So they're not gonna lock you in that way. I think they're also putting in some protection, and the specific one they cite, it's like warriors in a raid won't be able to roll on cloth stuff because we don't need that shit. I mean, technically, can we wear it? Yes, technically we can wear it, but that's not the intent, right? That's not the intent. So they're trying to build in some of these rules to make it less of a headache. I understand that, especially, you know, because we just talked about the Mythic Raiders, right? Being able to funnel gear. Big deal for some of these high-end teams. Like, some players need it more than others or whatever. I get it. Obviously, we'll live with it. It's not my favorite choice. But for you, Nev, do you think this is a welcome choice? Do you think this will be rejoiced by the player base as time goes on, or is this a terrible idea?
I think it's gonna be a mixed environment. I'm with you. I liked, I liked the whole loot system the way it's been, where you had a chance to get it, and then you could roll a coin and get something. I don't think we actually had the coin. We lost the coin Shadowlands. We didn't get those anymore.
Yeah, I got the vault.
Yeah, we got the vault, which I liked the vault. The vault was great. But this, I'm in a different position because I know how my group is, and they're all very team focused and centric. So it's like if somebody's lacking, they'll be like, all right, look, I just got this item level. It's 2 item levels more for me, but you're using some real shit gear. So here, you just take it. So, I mean, I'm in an environment where it doesn't really matter because the team is very team focused and they take care of each other. And, but for some, I can see them going, crap, I'm not going to get any gear. Or, there are going to be some pissed off people that will win some stuff, but they're in a raid group that the guild master, the raid team leader is going to be like, no, you can't have that. Give it to this person or you're out. Things like that. That's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen. We've seen it happen in the past, but look, we'll see how it goes, and then Blizzard will adjust. They always do. They'll always adjust. They look at the data, they adjust. So this is where I'm like, in the past, I'd be like, oh my God, this sucks. Blizzard's not going to make the game sucky for everybody. They're going to, they'll look at it, they'll look at the data and go, this is working, this is not working so good. What can we do to tweak this to make it seem a little bit more rewarding for people? They're not out to push people away from the game, basically. So
they seem to be more open than they've ever been. Something we've talked a lot about with the Dragonflight cycle is, taking feedback and seeing how that works. And just quickly, I do want to make one correction I made a slight misstatement here, is that not all raid difficulties will be open on the 12th. It will take the following week until Raid Finder is open. So Vault of the Incarnates, that's going to be the new raid, and we'll talk about that as we get closer, what all that entails. But on the 12th, it's normal, heroic, and mythic. On the 19th is Wing 1 of Raid Finder difficulty. Then January 2nd will be Wing 2, and then January 16th will be Wing 3. So just want to
I want to see them fuck with everybody. I want to see them fuck with everybody and make the first raid LFR faded, and see how many people don't go to Mythic because the LFR faded is dropping better gear.
Who knows? Who knows what they're, I feel like anything's possible now. I really do, except for getting wrenching impact back. I don't know.
Yeah. That heroic strike.
Yeah. Oh boy. Along with all of this, and you and I have talked a little bit about this already too, is tier bonuses, like tier set bonuses. They brought them back at the end of Shadowlands. I think they were pretty popular. I have always associated them with Warcraft. They've always been something that, because you go back way old school, right? Those are the sets where you had people crafting gear, or you're targeting certain pieces because you're trying to build out certain tier sets because of the bonuses, or it was nature resist, or fucking whatever it was that you had to do at the time, and then it kind of went away, and now it's back. You and I are pretty big fans of it. I think we both feel this is part of Warcraft. One of the conversation pieces that I've seen around this, though, is how powerful should a bonus be or not be? To be or not to be? It in my mind, it should be tied to the difficulty of attaining the piece. And now that we have this catalyst, right? We had the creation catalyst that was introduced in the end of Shadowlands, where you could take a piece of gear that you get in a raid and turn it into a tier piece, right? That was a game changer. So if that seems to be relatively straightforward, I feel like the bonuses can't be super overpowered, or else it, I don't know, kind of takes away from the specialness, if that makes sense. So, for like us, like I'm looking at the Fury Warrior one, right? Like it's a 2-set and a 4-set. One of them increases executes crit chance by 10%. Am I like, oh shit, that's why I'm gonna buy Dragonflight? Like, no, it's not like that. But it does feel like, okay, in a raid setting, I can see where that is gonna help bump me up, that list potentially if I know what I'm doing. A cooldown on execute, making it usable on any target, being greatly increased. I mean, I don't know what the fuck that means. Is that 2%? Is that 10%? Is that 50%? I don't know what greatly increased means. But for you, when you think about like a set bonus, do you think it should be like a new ability, or should it be like a buff, or where does that balance? Like, what do you like out of a tier set bonus?
So I was thinking about this because my first raid experience was when I played. I didn't play. I started the game as a warrior, but I switched to playing a rogue. And my first raid experience was as a rogue, and going through Molten Core, and then going through Blackwing Lair, where the first couple experiences. That was the first time I experienced the tier sets, and I remember the tier sets at the time. All they did was augment your current ability, like it was a extension of Slice and Dice, or apply poison. It would apply poisons, things like that. I used to log into raid just so that I could get my tier bonuses. So I mean, at the time, that was the best gear that you would get. Now that's not so much. You can raid, but you're not getting the best gear for raids, because you could actually go do a mythic. A mythic plus dungeon or something like that, and get better gear out of that, with stats. I think it's all about the people are still going, it's still about the stats. You're gonna get
what's my sim look like?
Exactly. You're gonna get your gear and you're gonna go out there and sim it. I like the tier sets though, because it is very, very Warcraft. It's very, very Diablo. I don't know. It's that Blizzard feel to it. I don't know. It just is. It adds that feeling.
That does. I agree. And like everything else, we'll see what happens in practice. It's coming. It's right around the corner. We'll have the pre-patch coming up, and we'll get a chance to dive into that. But one of the other big things that happened recently, and I'm so glad that I got a chance to actually dive in day one and enjoy this, was the launch of World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Right? This was. I didn't care about vanilla that much. I didn't care about BC that much. I cared a fuck ton about this one, because this, I've always said it, this is the jam. This is the one we love. You mentioned it earlier. It's like that's your happy place. That's where you go to.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
Once it launched, I got to hang out with the homie Rommel, and we ran for a couple of days. I'm not nearly as leveled up as he is. I think he might have gotten 80 already. I did get a few levels in. I'm in Grizzly Hills right now, and I'm almost. I think it's 74. And it's just, it has, to mention Miss Pandaria, it's introduced something that I haven't had for a long time, which is just slowing down and enjoying World of Warcraft for what it is, and to get kind of back into, for myself, the thing that I really liked about it, or the feelings or emotions that I felt around it. Because, like you said, I think for a lot of raiders, this is true, where you kind of get tunnel vision, where you level up, you do the thing, and listen, if that's your jam, I'm not going to take that away from you. But I think sometimes when you are ancillary to that, you kind of get sucked in just because you have to. I know I got people on my raid team right now that are like, oh, what are we doing? Where do we go? What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. Let's push it. And I really don't want to, because I know that what it's doing is it's shortening my lifespan in terms of how much I'm enjoying what's going on. And with Dragonflight, there really is this attention to, let's slow down, let's explore, and I don't really want to rush through that. But I always feel like I gotta go, I gotta get in there, we're doing our raids, all right, I got these times, these nights, that's my schedule, that's what I gotta do, bang, bang, bang. But getting to just go back to Wrath, right, the way that it was. Leveling a warrior was not great, I don't think. I mean, your rage generation sucks. The swing timers feel all weird. You'd only have a couple of abilities. Like, it's not great, and that's not why you do it. It's just because you do have to kind of pace yourself, and you do have to take your time. I've explored Dragonblight. I got to do Wrathgate the way that it used to be, and the Battle for the Undercity, and all that stuff that I miss so much, that I got to do like it was the old days. And I didn't have any problem when we ran Battle for Undercity. We didn't run into the other problems that people claim. I'm not saying that they didn't happen, but people were talking about phasing issues and this and that. We didn't have shit. 5-minute timer popped, and when that 5-minute timer was up, me and Varian and Rommel and everybody else, we busted the hell in there and we beat some ass. Like, it was this cathartic experience I didn't even know that I needed. And so having a chance to do that, the things that you've been talking about, it's exactly right. I didn't start loving Warcraft because of raiding. I didn't even know what that was. I knew there was gear out there somewhere that looked fantastic, and I would, ask people while waiting for a boat on a dock, hey, bro, that looks super cool. Where'd you get that? And I get a super annoyed response. It's the raid tier gear. Like, I don't know. Look it up on the internet. That was the kind of stuff we used to get. But that was what we fell in love, was the leveling and being in the world and seeing the stuff. And playing Wrath Classic was the first chance I've had in years to really reconnect with that. And so going into Dragonflight, we're going to, hit that sort of like that rush of energy again come the end of November. It was a nice kind of soft reset, and reminding why, not just I love the expansion so much, but why I love Warcraft so much, why I've stuck around all these years, why I've done a podcast for 7 years, why all of this stuff has been going on, because there is that heart and soul, that core of it that still remains and still exists, and that's never changed, and that's still a thing I love, and it's still a thing I have access to if I want to. And that was a great reminder. Have you gotten to jump into Classic at all? Is that of interest to you, the Wrath Classic servers?
So yes, I did jump in. It was actually one of the first things I did, because if you haven't done it already, it's worth doing. Roll a DK, just go through the experience just to get that mount, because I was like, oh look, you get the Time Lost Proto Drake. Well, it's not the Time Lost. It's a model that looks like the Time Lost Proto Drake.
Something like that.
It looks really awesome. I did that. And I got frustrated because there are quality of life stuff that's put in now that doesn't exist back then.
Nope.
So there was a lot of, like, I was trying to think of some examples that I ran into. I was constantly, I actually utilized Wowhead a lot for those quests again, because I ran into a lot of problems with some of those quests.
There's no direction telling you where to go anymore, other than what's in the quest. You have to read the quest text.
Yes, yeah, that was basically it. It's you don't look at a map and go, this is where you need to go. You Oh, you need to bomb the inn. Well, open up a map. Oh, I need to see where I need to go. Oh, it doesn't. The inn doesn't show up. You need to figure out which one the inn is, and then go take care of that. You know, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had some fun with that. I still haven't rolled a regular character, just a DK.
That starting experience, that DK starting experience, is just, it's still, and I talked about this on the last episode, the Wrath Special Edition. It's still so cool because you fire it up and you're like, right, like, there's the Lich King right there.
There's the Lich King right there, yep.
And like, I am doing your bidding, and I'm talking to Darian Mograine and Corrupted Ashbringer and like, you know, guy. And like, I mean, you got the whole kit and caboodle, right? Everybody's right there. And but you're right. You quickly remember, oh, yeah, that quality of life thing isn't, oh, I got to do this. Yeah. Oh, this is this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. You know, we used, truth be told, we cheated a little bit, Rommel and I, when we were leveling. He was using Questy, which is a you know, like a quest helper type add-on, and that was giving us some direction on things to where to go. But I didn't have it, so I was just kind of running just baseline naked. And I'm like, okay, where do we got to go? Okay, this thing says southwest. All right, where's the map? All right, pull up the map. Let's do the thing. And one note about that, and Rommel reminded me about this. The greatest high. Probably, truth be told, I have to say the greatest high of my time in Wrath of the Lich King was not downing the Lich King in the raid. It was actually, as you mentioned, it was getting my time lost proto drink. Because during the Wrath expansion, I was actually laid off from my job. And so I was out of work for a year. So yeah, there was a lot of Warcraft time happening during that era. And for, like, it was either I think it might have been 2 weeks. I'm just going to say 2+ weeks. I had my computer running solid on and logged into World of Warcraft. There are hundreds of hours of my Warcraft character's time, my main, which was just me sitting in Storm Peaks, and I had a programmable keyboard thing that would move the character like every handful of minutes to keep me logged in and to keep me not AFK, and I had the whatever Silver Dragon alert thing.
Yeah.
And so every time, because the Time Lost Proto Drake shares a spawn with another blue Drake. And so the Time Lost Proto Drake is only one out of so many. And so I killed that blue Drake I don't know how many times. And then finally the Time Lost Proto Drake pops up. It's the only time I saw it. I almost died when I got it. But I still got it, and I mean, you could have heard my scream from the next county over. It was unbelievable release. Like, I needed to win like so bad at that point in my life. Yeah. So that probably was the highest. So thank you, Rommel, for reminding me. But yeah, Wrath Classic. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's honestly, I think it's the height of the storytelling and everything else. And I know I'm biased, but it was great. So we have Dragonflight announced. That's coming. We've got a new raid we're going to talk about probably next time, and it's going to be pre-patch coming around the next episode. In the meantime, we had a couple fun things to mention. Herman Lee, if you don't know who Herman Lee is the lead guitarist for the band Dragon Force. And I've always associated Dragon Force with Warcraft just because, I don't know, when I discovered them both, it was kind of about, they're about the same time. Through the Fire and Flames, possibly the most famous Guitar Hero song because it's absolutely blazing and insane, right? That was one of Herman's finest and that band's finest. He has released a guitar cover of Arthas, My Son, a song or one of the pieces from the Wrath of the Lich King soundtrack. It sounds amazing. The guy just, it sounds like a lot of his songs. It's like ZZ Top. There's a certain similarity to all of them, but you love them, and so if you like it, you like it. And so for this, very similar. It's in his style, blazing fast, speed metal, the whole thing. A phenomenal cover. So please go out there and share that. We also talked about this right before the show, Nav, there is a new Frostmourne replica collectible that is now taking pre-orders. It's not yet for sale for immediate release. If you recall, there was one many years ago. I want to say it was like $600, $700, $800, something like that. The one now, which I do think might even be better, $1,500 premium for this sucker.
With a $200 price tag just for the replica wall mount for it. The $1,500 doesn't even cover the wall mount.
That is an impressive
sofa
feat
to hold it up.
I mean, That you have to put that at the entrance to your home. Like I mean, that is $1,500. I wouldn't even spend $1,500 on a legitimate art piece to put in my home.
Comfortable. Like I mean,
Ugh.
it's gonna hurt your hand like holding that thing.
I think it's like 15 pounds or something. It's huge.
16. It's
16.
almost 17 pounds.
17 pounds. Holy shit. Yeah, so it's bananas. But if you're big money, or you don't want to make a student loan payment for a couple months or whatever the fuck it is, $1,500 and probably the finest Frostborn replica could be yours. Now, I don't know what happens if you swing it. I don't know much about metallurgy in that way. What's that?
Use it to cut brisket. It's got
There it
that
is.
serrated edge there. There you go.
You will win every competition when your meat is blessed by the blade of the Lich King. Yeah, so that's out there, should you be interested. And the last thing I wanted to mention, and Nav, you already mentioned it, but this, there really is no time of year in Warcraft like the fall. Brewfest, mentioned it before, and now, next week, on the 17th of October, Hallows End begins. Yes. Hallows End with, the mount that I finally got. Do you have your Headless Horseman mount?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
right,
I got that back in MOP, actually, yeah.
Oh my God! So we're elitists now. We have the mount, and we can ride around and taunt everybody. But it's one of the great holidays to participate in. So if you get a chance, do that before all the Dragonflight stuff kicks off. But that is coming. It's one of my favorite times of year, and I really look forward to that. So I think that will do it for this episode. I think we've covered it all. We got a contest and the greatest special guest I could ask for, and we rapped about some news and everything else. So I want to thank you, my special guest, Brother Navox, for dropping by. It's always so nice to see you and to chat with you and have you back coming here. Drop your knowledge on all the folks with your wisdom, with your learned wisdom. But for folks who don't know, where can they follow your mini gaming and meat smoking exploits?
So, first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed our chat, and thank you for inviting me back to share in the special anniversary edition, for real.
Yes.
I really do appreciate that. If you want to follow me, I'm still out there on Twitter. I am at NAV_OX, and I am also on Instagram, where you can find me at Adam B. Grillin. So it's just ADAMB and then just Grillin without the G at the end of it. You can see all the stuff I'm grilling out there. So that's where I post all that stuff. I try to cross post with that on Twitter, but what I like today, what I just did was I'm doing a brisket for the first time. I haven't done a brisket yet, so I'm doing it for the first time, but I'm logging all of my instructions. So when I go make a post about this, I'm going to say, hey, look, this is what I used.
Yes.
This is where I met my stall. This is the time and temp. I'm using the briquettes. And so I'm going to put all that stuff out there. So if you're interested in how I'm cooking stuff, that's where, that's what I'm doing.
There he is. Smart man, being a whole separate account. Maybe I don't need to follow suit. People will be like, oh, enough of this Warcraft shit. Let's get to the meat. And, of course, my thanks to all of you for listening to this episode. Hopefully you stuck around past the contest stuff and got to hear our great conversation today. But remember, you can always follow me and this show on Twitter at Berserker Rage and Unshackled_Fury. You can also join our Discord, links for which are in the profile of the show on Twitter and our Bonus Roll Productions page, and probably another place you could drop your contest video if you want. I'm sure people would love to see it. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, contest entries, or otherwise through any of those resources or on shackledfury.com. And you can get this show wherever you get your podcasts. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high. And we'll see you next time. Farewell.